Hi there. Before I start the video, I thought I'd say that this video is a little different than what I normally post, and this is a new series I think I want to pursue. I know I'm primarily a gaming channel, but this is something I'm passionate about, and I thought it'd be a cool side series if you guys are interested. I probably won't do it too terribly often, maybe once every other week, maybe once a week. If yeah, it all depends on um, how this video performs and how it all goes. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy the video. So basically, I am telling the story of Please Please Me, the Beatles' first album. Now, it wasn't immediately a commercial success when it came out. It took several months for it to reach number one. It didn't reach number one until April. So the Beatles weren't immediately successful with this album, but it's a damn good album. Really, what this album is, it's the Beatles' first steps towards moving forward from what they'd been doing. They'd been playing in clubs a lot in Hamburg and in the Cavern Club in England. So that was getting pretty old for them. They'd been doing it constantly, and this was their first step to moving forward. With this album, they'd have the potential to go worldwide with their music. So what the record is, it's a bunch of the songs they'd play live, essentially. This record, out of all the Beatles records, is the closest to how they sounded performing live, and it was all recorded within one day. They started at 10 a.m. and they ended at 11 p.m. As I was saying, it's mostly the stuff they played live in clubs, and so it has that very raw feel to it. At the time, most albums from artists were collections of standard hits that they'd play. So it wasn't common for an artist to write their own music and compose an album of their own material. And yet, on this album, though most of it is covers, there are a few compositions by the Beatles themselves, and ultimately the fans would prefer that over covers. And a few years later, they wouldn't have any covers on their albums. But in the Beatles' early career, they did a few covers, and this album has some. Mostly the album is covers, but it was kind of groundbreaking for the Beatles to use their own material, I guess. And the songs that were written by the Beatles on this album are listed as McCartney-Lennon. Now, but that's kind of odd because the songs that John Lennon would write and Paul McCartney would write would be listed as Lennon-McCartney. But in the early days, the plan was that they would alternate, take turns whose name would go first. But Lennon-McCartney stuck, and it stayed that way. Now, in recent history, Paul has tried to get it changed so that the songs that he took more of a creative lead on would be McCartney-Lennon, and then the ones that John took a creative lead on would be Lennon-McCartney. But that hasn't happened yet. I don't know if it ever will. Probably won't. Now, not only was this album recorded in record time, but the cover picture was taken very fast as well. It was taken within an hour or so. John had an awful cold. He was sick, and he was sucking throat tablets or like lozenges all day so he could talk. And so they saved Twist and Shout for the very end of the recording session because they knew it'd tear his throat apart. He wouldn't be able to talk after it. After they recorded it, they only did 2 takes of Twist and Shout. And they were only able to use take 1 because take 2, he couldn't sing after recording take 1. Now, the album was originally going to be recorded at the Cavern Club itself because that's where the Beatles made a name for themselves. But it was found unsuitable for the recording equipment, and the audio wouldn't turn out quite right. George Martin, the Beatles producer, hadn't been completely convinced of the Beatles' musical talents yet.
I first met the Beatles in 1962. I wasn't terribly impressed with the first stuff they did. I couldn't make out the sound. It was something I hadn't heard before.
And in fact, one of the only reasons why he signed the Beatles, or took them on to produce them, was because of their wit and their charm.
They had this wonderful charisma. They made you feel good to be with them. And I thought their music was rubbish.
And they proved themselves to be very musically capable, more musically capable than most people, but that's why he took them on. Now, this video is a short one, but I want to do more videos talking about the Beatles, and this is my first step to doing that. So if you please hit the like button or subscribe if you enjoyed this content. It's something new for me. Comment if you want to see more of this. And please, if there's any stories you want to hear, or like, about the Beatles in Hamburg, or any other, like, if you want to know the story behind certain songs or albums or whatever, I will do my best to take those comments into consideration, see if I can make videos about it. I think that's about it. So, thanks for watching.